Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show. This is the show that I do every single week where I basically give you guys a preview into what it is that is going to be coming out from my channel over the course of this week. We talk about a little bit of news, some current events. We chat it up with the folks that are here in the chat. We make some announcements, and generally, we have a good time whenever we are doing this show. And I want to welcome everybody to this live stream. And I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your respective weekends to actually join me wherever you happen to be. So we have a couple of things that we're going to try to get to today. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the news that has come out of the D23 Expo. We're going to talk about what the D23 Expo is, and then the news that came out, and maybe a little bit about the ramifications of that. And then as we proceed through, I'm going to, of course, give you guys the heads up as to what's coming out from the channel. And then we're going to be giving away a really cool book today to one lucky subscriber, thanks to the guys over at GoCollect. Before we get going, I want to say hello to some comic book soldiers that have joined me here in the room. We're scrolling up through the top. Chris Barrett is in the house. Rush Diehard is here. Wayne McDonald. Couple of Canadians, eh? Scrolling down through the list, Johnny Future is in the house. Tina is here in full effect. It is good to see you, Tina, as always. Scrolling through the list, Randy Resnake is here. Randy, it's good to see you. Cool and Collected, it is good to see you. I jumped over Eddie White. My apologies, my friend. It is good to see you. Scrolling down through this list here, Punish Comics is in the house. It is good to see you. Couple of comments here about ramen. Scrolling through the list here, Cody Jones is in the house. Cody, it is good to see you. Mr. Snyder, welcome to the live stream. Scrolling through the list, Rye is here in full effect. Rye, it is good to see you. Another Chris is here. It's the Chris effect, y'all. Scrolling through the list, who else do we have in here? Scrolling. I realize just how much I say that. Danny is here. Danny, it is good to see you. There is another Chris. Hey, y'all, how you doing? Mr. Comics 89 is in the house. John is here in the room. Steve, welcome to you. Welcome to the live stream. Comic Book Hustler is here. She Spawn. How you doing? Almighty Liger King is in effect. Dakota is here. Again, it is good to see every one of you, and I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your respective weekends, your Sunday night, to actually join me. It is good to see you guys. All right, so with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. Before I do, I want to say a quick shout out to everyone that joined the Gibbon Gang this week. There was a ton of people that tagged me on posts over the course of this week where they went out and they snagged a Gibbon at a local comic shop for a couple of bucks. So shout out to everyone that is now part of the Gibbon Gang. Every single person that tags me, I automatically post them to the story so that we can all see who is part of the Gibbon Gang. One other thing, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so. That way you can stay abreast of all the content that I release from the channel on a weekly basis, but it also makes you eligible for the various giveaways that we do here on the channel every single week. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the news, right? It was crazy. It was crazy this weekend with all of the news that started coming out of D23. And as I was trying to wrap my mind around the news, one of the first things I tried to do was to figure out what the heck D23 was. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I did not know. So I had to Google it. The Google machine revealed a ton to me. So D23 is basically Disney's fan club. It is the largest Disney fan club in the world. And that makes me feel as if there are lots of fan clubs in the world if they're saying it is the largest. So I'm guessing it is pretty darn large. But this is Disney's fan club, and the D23 Expo is a convention that Disney sponsors every other year for fans. And I'm guessing for print, for press, et cetera, et cetera. But it's basically where they come together every single year to basically celebrate everything that is Disney, right? So it is Disney, it is Marvel, it is Star Wars, it is Pixar, it is everything under that Disney umbrella, including movies, TV shows, streaming services, et cetera, et cetera. It is all things Disney. And they had some incredible celebrities actually show up to this thing, which tells me just how big of a deal it was. And I had a chance to watch a bunch of the recaps earlier today just to kind of get myself up to speed, kind of combine it with the things that I was reading online. And so it kind of rounded out the picture for me. The D23, because I was like, what does that mean, right? Kind of figured out the D. D is for Disney. Makes sense. The 23 is when Disney was founded, which was 1923. That is hence D23. So hopefully that clears it up, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not know. She spawns like, what? You didn't know? I did not know. I am not a Disney person. And what's funny is I lived in Burbank, not too far from Disney Studios, had no clue what D23 was. I'm gonna be completely honest with you on that one. So and it's also in Anaheim. I think somebody just said that it is always in Anaheim, at least as far as I was able to learn online. And what happened at this thing, there was a lot of things. There was a lot of coverage of the Disney streaming services, the movies, Pixar, all the TV shows, all the movies, all of these things that Disney is planning for the coming time period. They reviewed a lot of that stuff. And what was really cool is that they actually had Kevin Feige there, the producer for the MCU. He was actually there. He did, I think it was like a couple of presentations that he did where he basically gave us a fair bit of insight into some things that are coming out from the MCU. And I found his, I was able to watch what was a heavily edited version of the stage presentation. So I don't know in totality what his comments were. I only was able to see snippets from what I was able to find online. So others may know a little bit more than I, because again, I wasn't able to find a lot. But what we did get from Kevin Feige was we actually saw the entire cast of the Eternals, which was kind of cool because Selma Hayek was there, Angelina Jolie was there, and then there was a host of other characters that were where we saw the Eternals, and then we saw the actors that would actually play them. And I need to do a little bit of research because there was a couple of different Eternals that had been identified by Kevin Feige and then introduced with the real actor. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I had never heard of those Eternals before in my life. I'm gonna just be honest. There were some, like there was Sprite. I don't remember reading the name Sprite when I read Jack Kirby's original Eternals. And maybe some of these characters actually came from, I think it was like 2012 version of the Eternals. And I think maybe another volume as well. So I need to read those because I haven't. I was assuming that this was going to be much of what it was that Jack Kirby created. And it may be a little bit more than that. It may be a little bit more of an embellishment. So we're going to see about that. So there's a couple of comments that folks are making here in the room, and I think it's a legitimate point. I see my man Hawkeye, brother. It is good to see you, my friend. So one of the things that I struggled with as I was leading into this thing and trying to wrap my mind around what was happening with the Eternals is I heard this announcement of Kit Harington. I think that's his name, Kit Harington, who played one of the Starks on Game of Thrones, incredible TV show. So Rob Stark is actually going to be the Black Knight. And so my struggle was that if the Eternals, which were basically around the time of prehistoric man, I don't see the connection to the Black Knight. And I also struggle with the fact that the Black Knight, to my knowledge, is not an Eternal. And so I'm not quite sure how they're going to bridge that divide between prehistoric man and medieval man, i.e. the Black Knight, but I'm guessing that there's something there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know a ton about the Black Knight. So I actually need to get up to speed on that. Shout out to one of the subscribers that actually hooked me up with Black Knight #1 for us to be able to give away a couple of months ago. And congrats to the person that actually won that thing. But let me look and see the comments here. She spawns like Kit Harington, Black Knight. Yes, yes. Ocean Dog, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for the shout out on Instagram earlier today, and welcome to the live stream. Possible love interest for Black Knight and Circe. I could see that. I could see that because Circe is definitely an interesting character, right? Especially if you look at her from the comics, she was all about fun. If you remember Avengers 247, I think she was actually kidnapped or something like that while she was at a party in 246, and so it's a whole thing. So yeah. Oh, see, here we go. Yep. Issue number 9. I'm gonna have to go back and read that because I honestly, for the life of me, do not remember Sprite. So I want to go back and check that out. It's been over a year and a half, almost maybe 2 years since I read it. So I may need to go back and read it. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Let me see. Scrolling down. Okay, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bridge this divide. We have this thought that Kent Harington might actually be the Black Knight, might be a love interest or Circe. So we will see. I'm telling you, it was really cool to see all the actors up on stage. I thought that was a really, really nice touch for them to bring everybody up there for us to be able to see the full cast. Again, there was a lot of characters that I was hearing for the first time, so I'm actually going to have to go back and read the Eternals myself to kind of get back up to speed to see where I'm missing some of these characters, because there were a couple of them that kind of caught me off guard. So more to come on that. But again, I thought that was really cool. One of the other things that Kevin Feige got to in his remarks was the what if. And a lot of people were really excited when they announced the what if cartoon. And I wasn't, to be honest with you. I wasn't terribly excited about the what if cartoon. There was a lot of speculation about what impact that cartoon could potentially have on the comics, the what if comics. And we saw some movement, I think, in the prices of what if comics. And I'm still not quite sure what impact the cartoon will have. We'll see. But what I thought was cool about it was that Kevin Feige gave us a little bit of insight into how they're going to use the what if cartoon. And basically what he said was that they're basically going to do the cartoon based upon the movie. And they're basically going to change an element in the movie and then to see how that change plays out over the course of the cartoon. So, for example, and I'm completely making this up, if you guys saw Avengers Endgame or whatever movie it was where Thor didn't go for the head, right? Maybe what we actually see is that Thor goes for the head, and then we see what plays out after that. What is the effect of that decision? And so I think it's going to be a really cool thing to kind of see these really incredible popular movies played out as a cartoon with one element actually being changed. So you could have, I don't know, instead of maybe, with the Iron Man movie, for example, instead of Tony Stark getting the suit, maybe the enemy gets the suit or something like that. So I think it's going to be cool to see how all of this plays out, So one sec. So I am almost better. I am still struggling to get through a full video without coughing, but we will persevere and hopefully in the coming days be 100%. So they didn't give out a ton of details about the next two things that I'm going to be talking about, but we did get a chance to see the cast. Again, I saw a heavily edited version of the stage presentation, so there could have been a lot more details that were actually dropped. I was only able to see, again, a heavily edited version, but they talked about the Winter Soldier, which I thought was really cool, and they also talked about WandaVision, and in both cases, they actually had the cast for those shows actually come out, which was really cool. And so you guys know that these are the shows that are actually going to be on Disney Plus, the streaming service, and not on the MCU. But hold on, because they showed us those two casts, which I thought was a great touch to have them come out so that we can actually see them, be introduced to them, et cetera, et cetera. I'm guessing Kevin Feige put some texture to it, but didn't see it. And then he also announced, he kind of made the remark that you guys already know about these shows on Disney Plus. Are you interested in hearing something new? And so he announced 3 additional TV shows. And this is where Instagram lost its mind. Instagram lost its mind when this happened. They announced Miss Marvel, Camilla Khan, they announced Moon Knight. And so there's this whole thing of, does he have powers or is he insane? Which is, I think, one of the great things about that particular character that people like. And then they also announced She-Hulk. So there are going to be 3 new TV shows that are going to be dropping on the streaming service. And I want to say we knew about She-Hulk, because if you guys remember, it was probably 3 months ago, maybe. I did not break the news. There was rumors out there, and I talked about it on the channel about the fact that there was going to be this handoff of the baton from the actor that plays the Incredible Hulk to the cousin, and then she would kind of carry the mantle forward on a TV show. We talked about that months and months ago, and so we kind of knew that the She-Hulk thing was going to happen. Kevin Feige said it's very different from anything that we have done before, so it'll be really interesting to see how they're going to handle that one. And I think there's a lot of speculation as to what they're going to do with that particular character, given that she's an attorney and then a superhero. And so the real announcements was the Camilla Khan Miss Marvel thing, and also the Moon Knight. And I am so pleased. I am so pleased that the Moon Knight people are getting some love. I'm going to be honest with you. Kingpin Comics, what if Reggie only collected DC? I'd have a tiny collection. I am so glad that Moon Knight is getting some love, because I'm going to tell you, Moon Knight's fans are just incredible. They really are. They really are incredible. And so I am pumped that you guys are finally getting a little bit of love for that particular character. And so more to come on this one as we get a little bit closer. And so one of the things that someone asked me recently, because I put up a post on the community tab where I basically said, hey, what questions do you have for me? And some people submitted some questions. And one of the questions was around my thoughts on what was going to happen with comics that were tied to the streaming services. And the short answer is that I don't know. I really don't know, right? Because with the movies, you have a run up, if you will, of the price of the comic. And around the time the trailer drops, anecdotally, people have told me that is the time to sell the comic, right? So people are selling as a trailer comes out, which is essentially kind of sort of the peak of attention, when people are like, but that have not been paying attention are like, oh my goodness, there's a movie out. It is actually going to be made. I'm watching it on the YouTube. They immediately go to eBay and they buy things up. And so I think that that's why people feel that when that trailer drops, that is the time to sell. Because let's say that the trailer comes out, that's when the attention starts to die off a little bit, at least until the movie then drops. And then the danger there is, what happens if the movie is bad, right? If the movie is good, that's great. But what happens if the movie is bad? And so I think the general thought is that you want to dump the book, sell the book right when that trailer drops, because you have the best chance of getting the most money, because that's where the attention is. Now, if you're talking about streaming services and these shows, to some degree, you could have the same thing. You could have a run up as that trailer drops before that show debuts. But what you could end up having is sustained prices, right? The price could go up and it could be sustained, especially if the show is good. And so I don't know if selling right before the trailer drops for the TV show is going to hold the same logic as the movie, right? And here's the other part. At least the 3, no, possibly all 5 TV shows. So the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk, there is a chance that those characters in the Disney streaming services, there is a chance that they could also appear in MCU movies as well. And so you could have the run up with the trailer of the streaming services, and then you could have an additional run up when those characters are introduced to the movies, because based upon what Kevin Feige said, we're going to be seeing some of these characters in the MCU movies on the big screen. And so the long and short of it is, I honestly don't know what is going to happen with the future value of comics that are attached to these streaming services. And so if you guys remember the video that I did, or the vlog I did a couple of weeks ago, where I said we are entering an unprecedented phase in speculation as we get into phase 5. Real talk. It is real talk, because I don't think anybody knows. And I think we're all going to be trying to look for some patterns as things happen. So definitely more to come. Let me see what people are saying here. Aaron is like, She-Hulk sounds pretty interesting. You know, honestly, I went back and I read the She-Hulk book, issue number 1, when I picked it up a couple of months ago, and it's actually pretty good. I was actually surprised at just how good it was. And so, you know, the fact that Kevin Feige has his hands on it, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this thing plays out on the small screen, because I think that it could actually be really good. So, scrolling down, nobody talks about Hawkeye. Scrolling down through the comments here. Connor, how you doing? Connor says, it is 4 a.m. in Ireland, staying up to watch the live stream. Well, I'm glad that you did, my friend. It is good to see you. Nobody cares about Hawkeye. Nobody. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this stuff plays out. I think the She-Hulk thing is going to be really good. White Will is in the house. How you doing, brother? I think people are somewhat excited again about Miss Marvel, and I think a lot of folks are probably excited about Moon Knight. So again, more to come on all of this stuff in terms of how this stuff plays out. And again, I think it's going to be interesting to see how these characters come out in the streaming services and then how they transition to the MCU. And I can tell you, I personally am in the process of thinking through the Disney Plus streaming service. When I first heard about this service many months ago, I was like, there's no way, forget about it. I'm not doing it. And then as they started to announce more and more TV shows, I'm like, so I think my kids need to watch Disney shows. That is like, but right now I have, you know, Prime. I have Netflix, I have Hulu, and I'm like, do I really need a fourth one on top of cable? So something might give. So we will see, but I am going to make a strong play for this Disney Plus streaming service because I think it might actually be really, really dope. All right. So with that, let's talk a little bit about what is this? It's at the end of the month and the live stream is crisp. Very good. Yeah. Well, you got to remember, I also haven't been streaming as much. And I recorded a lot of videos in advance at the end of last month. So maybe there's something going on with that. So we shall see. All right. So videos that are coming out this week. I am playing around with a couple of things. I actually filmed a video last night that I think that I want to release to you guys this week instead of next week or the week after. So one of these videos may actually come out of the rotation for another one. And the video that I'm debating is one that talks about personal finances. And I do this because someone asked me the other day about personal finances, not necessarily, you know, what I make or how I spend, but it was more like the philosophical approach to managing one's finances as it relates to this hobby, which can be very expensive. And so I recorded a video that I think is a pretty good one. I still need to edit it down. And if I can get it done, I'll be releasing that video this week because I think it's a pretty cool one. So I am dropping a video about Jim Lee. There is a Jim Lee video coming out this week. Why? Because Jim Lee is the bomb. So stay tuned for that. I am releasing a vlog. It'll probably hit the YouTube channel and it may hit the podcast. I'm not sure whether I'm going to release it on the podcast just yet because I have a backlog of content over there. But the video that I'm releasing, the vlog, is called My Lifelong Dirty Secret. And so I think that that's going to be an interesting video. I think it is going to be a video, at least I hope, that will spark a lot of thoughts and a lot of discussion on the channel, right? Because that's part of what I like to do is I like to get people to think and I like to get people to react, and not necessarily in an agitated way, but to reflect upon some things and then talk about those things. So my lifelong dirty little secret is going to be dropping at some point this week. There will be a comic book hunting video that is going to be coming out as well. And I think that was a pretty cool video. I recently posted, as I talked about on the community tab, I posted up what questions do you have for me? And a ton of people actually sent in questions. And so I filmed a video late last night for you guys that will respond to questions that you guys had for me. So it's a subscriber Q&A, and I think it's a pretty cool video. And then, like I said, the one that I may drop on personal finances. If not the personal finances, I may substitute in an AOK. But there will be ample videos that are going to be dropping this week, Monday through Friday, always at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. And in one of those videos will be a phrase that you need to write down so that you can actually enter the Go Collect giveaway. So you definitely want to stay tuned for the videos. You want to watch them, and you want to look for when I say, hey, if you want a chance to add this book to your collection, you want to make sure you're looking for that so that you can actually enter these giveaways, which we do every single week. I'm also going to try to do 1 to 2 live shows this week. In addition to the Ready, Set, Go preview show, I'm going to try to jump on here and go live at least once or twice this coming week. And then I'm also going to release one podcast from the channel as well. All right. So let me look and see what you guys are talking about here. So Comic Book Hustler is saying, dirty secret, we all sniff vintage comic book pages. Brother, that is no secret. Okay. That is an open thing that we all share. There is no secrets there. Bake the Snake, how you doing, my friend? Punished Comics, how you doing? Here we go. So my dirty secret, I buy Vampirella covers just for the covers. That is no secret, White Will. That's not a secret, brother. I think everybody buys those for the covers, not for the stories. Okay. Scrolling down to the comments. Somebody's asking about the Venom. So that back there is actually an AOK that a subscriber sent to me that I can't remember where he picked it up. It was probably an artist or something like that he knows or befriended or something like that. That Venom is super dope. Super dope Venom. So you guys know I like to mix up the background back there. So I have a stack of basically top loaders for original art that I just kind of rotate back there whenever I go live or record a video, just to kind of give a little bit of something to the background back there. Scroll. Cool and Collect is like, I told my wife we need Disney Plus for the kids. There you go. It is for the kids. There you go. This is the one time you can actually potentially get away with something for the comics that you can blame on the kids. Just saying, you do it and let them take the blame and you just keep rolling. What is this? The Almighty Liger King. I used to try to draw like Jim Lee back in the day and failed. You know, what's funny is that people used to criticize Jim Lee because they said that Jim Lee didn't have his own unique style, that he basically looked like everyone else. And, you know, I think Jim Lee is super talented, and the stuff that he does, I couldn't even begin to do. And so I think that was just one of those early criticisms of him. But I think that the dude is definitely a super talented dude. So scrolling down through, Chris is like, my dirty little secret is I do too much cover buying. Yeah, well, it happens. It definitely happens. So I think you guys are probably going to get a kick out of this video that drops, my dirty little secret. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. And I definitely encourage you guys to share and to let me know whether you also share my dirty little secret or whether I am off base or something like that. All right. So let me scroll down, see what you guys are talking about. What's the yellow car? The yellow car is is probably one of the hardest, most difficult toys that I've ever stolen from a child. Stole it from a nephew. Well, actually, his mother donated it to my mother-in-law's basement, which is like a toy paradise. It's like where Toys R Us basically just went to die. That's how my mother-in-law's basement looks. And so it is an incredibly tough Transformer, the Bumblebee toy. It took me a while to get that thing together. My kids are like, Daddy, can I play with it? No, because it is hard to put together. Scrolling down to the comments. What if you don't have kids? You are in trouble. You are in trouble. That's all I'm going to say. You are in trouble if you don't have kids, and you cannot blame them for that bill that is going to come in. Someone told me there's a couple of like packages or something like that you could potentially get. I honestly haven't looked into it, and I need to, because I am probably going to be getting it. What is the X-Men on the bottom left? Which way? This way or this way? This one is X-Men 221, first appearance of Mr. Sinister. This one is... Oh, that's actually a Miss Marvel. That's actually a Miss Marvel. So this wall is like an X-Men thing. It's not all X-Men books, but it's one of Mystique's early appearances or something like that. So that's what that is. I think it's like Miss Marvel 18, I want to say. I can't see that far. It's either 18 or 17 or something like that. So scrolling down through the comments. Chris Barrett says his dirty little secret is that he is the Michael Jordan of trivia night. You are hilarious, my friend. You are hilarious. Scrolling down through the comments here. We are going to get to this drawing in just a couple of seconds. Mike, how you doing? It is good to see you, my friend. welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. Scrolling down through, here we go. Johnny Future says his dirty little secret is art germ covers, especially Catwoman. Super dope. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Someone sent me one of those Catwoman covers and they are just fantastic. Art Germ is a super talented dude. No, it's not a dirty little secret when you announce it with 115 or so people in the room. Not a dirty secret. It is now out in the open, and all is forgiven once you confess your sins. So I have now confessed, and I am all good, my friend. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get to this giveaway here. This is the book that we are going to be giving away. This is New Teen Titans number 2 and 8.0. This is the first appearance of Deathstroke. This is the book that we are actually going to be giving away thanks to the guys over at GoCollect who put us in a position every single week to be able to give away some awesome slabs. This particular book, as you saw, has a yellow label. This one was signed by Marv Wolfman on 6/29/18. Signed it right there in gold. And this book could potentially be yours. And I'm gonna tell you guys, stay tuned, because the book that I'm going to be giving away this week, I'm actually going to show you that book in just a couple of minutes. So you don't want to miss that, because I think it too is a pretty solid book. So if you are indeed the winner of this prize, you will receive that book that I just showed you a hot second ago. You're also going to get a copy of this exclusive Soulfire variant from GoCollect. You'll get your option of a GoCollect distressed t-shirt or a stylus. They have a stylus for like your iPads. It's also a pen on the other side. So you have your choice of a t-shirt. T-shirts only come in large and extra large, or a stylus. If you are the winner, you need to send me an email to regiecollects@gmail.com, REGIE 1G, regiecollects@gmail.com, letting me know your real name, your screen name, your mailing address, your preference for shirt or stylus. And if you pick the shirt, I need to know your size. If you send that email to me, I will bundle everything up. I will send you a tracking number and I will mail your stuff out to you tomorrow so that you get it in a timely fashion. All right. So let's go ahead and get ready to rock and roll. And maybe let's look at the FMV of this book first. So this is the GoCollect interface right here. So we have the New Teen Titans number 2 up. So we're going to go ahead and hit the search button for this thing. I'm going to take a look at what this book is. This is actually an 8.0. So if this thing cooperates, we will be able to pull it up and look at the FMV. And so for those that don't know what FMV is, it is actually the fair market value right there. FMV of the comic, which is basically some kind of calculation that GoCollect does based upon recent sales, timeliness of sales, et cetera, et cetera. I've spoken to a lot of these pricing services and I've never quite received a solid answer on how they calculate it and when they calculate it. But here is an 8.0 and you can see some of the prices. Someone had a smoking deal. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the wrong one. Let me back up. This is actually the blue label, and we need to switch it over and actually look at the signature series. So you have my apologies with that. So we're going to go ahead and change that and then submit it. And then hopefully we can actually look at the 8.0, which has gone up 56.7%. And you can see here some of the prices around $250, where the last two sales is $136. There's $200, $142. Those are essentially the sales that illustrate what the FMV for this book might be. And you'll notice they actually don't have a FMV for this one. So you actually have to look at the raw sales data, which kind of sort of allows you to triangulate or to get a feel for what this book is going for right now. So there you go. Basically around $250, depending upon what you are looking at. All right. So let's bounce out of that and we are going to go over and roll some dice and see how many times we are going to have to randomize our list before we can give this book away. And we are going to randomize this thing a total of 4 times. So let's go ahead first, and we're going to take a look at the list of people that were able to successfully enter the contest this week. And there's a healthy number, you guys. So we're going to scroll through this list. The list, as a reminder, we actually cut the contest off at 7 a.m. Pacific time every Sunday morning. We cut it off, and I then tabulate all of the responses. I look for duplicates and all that other kind of stuff, try to clean the list up as best I can, and then I get it posted relatively quickly after that so that people can see that they did indeed enter the contest. And just as a reminder, the phrase that you needed to enter this week's contest was Marv Wolfman. The phrase changes every single time I do it. And it's sometimes, well, it's mostly related to the book in some way, shape, or form. So that is essentially the list of names. We're going to go ahead and randomize this thing a total of 4 times, and then we are going to give this book away. So that is 1. And remember, stay tuned because I'm actually going to show you the next book that will be given away this coming week. That is 2. Scrolling down, that is 3. And the winner of this week's Go Collect giveaway is Hawkeye. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. That is crazy. So Hawkeye, aka Mr. Mash, aka Alan, aka Comic Book Soldier, aka Mr. 4007, you, sir, are the winner of this week's Go Collect giveaway. If you guys remember, Alan, aka Hawkeye, actually recently gave me an awesome AOK. So shout out to him. Congratulations, my friend. Make sure you send me an email. And just as a reminder, the way that you win this contest is you listen for the phrase, you go to the community tab, you click on the link, you enter in 3 pieces of information. 2 of them are personal. 1 of them is a phrase from the video. And then the requirements are that you be a subscriber of the channel, a resident of the United States, a resident of Canada, or have a mailing address in the US. Those are basically the only requirements that we have. And we do this contest thanks to Go Collect every single week as a thank you to the people that subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of people. Someone, Jay-Z, reminded me that he has actually been a subscriber of the channel since I was like below 200 followers. And so this dude's been rolling with me for like 2 years. And so a huge shout out to him and to everyone else that has been part of this journey. And so shout out to Hawkeye. You, sir, are the recipient of a pretty awesome book. We're going to bundle this thing up as soon as you send me that email with all of your contact information so that I can get this out to you. All right. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the next book. So Super Honorable Nephew has the right spirit. He's like, at least I made the top 3. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That is the right spirit to have. Because here's the thing. It's tough. It's tough, but who else is giving away slabs every single month or every single week, really? All right. So this next book I think is really cool. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I actually told this story. I bought this book. I went to eBay and I saw the book and I thought the book was overpriced. And I looked up the FMV on GoCollect and I sent the person a message and I said, hey, I am interested in buying this book, but I will pay this based upon GoCollect's FMV value for this book. And I signed it, Reggie, because I sign every email or every message on eBay. And the funny thing is that as I sent it, it flashed the person's name up as the owner of the channel or the page on eBay. And I sort of recognized the name. And about 30 minutes later, I think I was driving down the street or riding down the street with the wife, and I get a message on Instagram. And it is the person that I thought it was. It was a subscriber of the channel who I also follow on Instagram. They sent me a message and they said, hey, if you can do the book for this and we can do it via PayPal, this book is yours. Done deal. Done deal. I got a book that was closer to FMV. He was able to move the book to someone that would definitely appreciate it. And now one of you will be the beneficiary of this great exchange. And I think that's, again, one of the cool things about the comic book community is that people are flexible. People are flexible, and we were able to work a pretty cool deal, I think, for a pretty cool book. And so the book that we are going to be giving away this week is Luke Cage, Hero for Hire #1 from 1972. This is the book that we're going to be giving away. This thing is a 5.5 off-white to white pages. I have never actually owned this book before. So part of it is I wanted to buy it so I could hold it and check it out. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to give it away to one of you guys. And so definitely a cool book. Sweet Christmas is right. Look at this dude. Eddie, I'm sorry. Yeah, Eddie's Mullet, you are the man. Sweet Christmas. This is the book that is going to be given away to one of you out there. And again, all you have to do is to be a subscriber of the channel and listen for the phrase in one of the videos, and this book could be yours. So one of the other things I want to do, and I want to look up the FMV of this thing. One of the other things I want to ask you guys to do is I want to ask you to help me drive some additional subscribers of the channel. And the reason that I'm asking you to do that is because once we get to 5,000 subs, we have a commitment from a local comic shop up in, where are they? Stockton, out in Stockton, California. Once we get to 5,000 subs, I have received a commitment to actually give me a fantastic book to be able to give away to you. And we are, I think, at like 4,600 subs or something like that. So we're making some fantastic progress. It seems like just the other day that we were at 4,000 subs and now we're at 4,600. We are on our way to 5,000. I have no clue what this comic shop owner is going to give me to give back to you guys. But I'm like, let's get to 5,000 and let's see what he comes up with, you know? So shout out if you guys can help raise some awareness, help drive some people to the channel. I think in the end, we will all benefit from those activities. So enough about that. All right. So here is, I think I'm showing you my screen. Yeah. So here, let me go ahead and show you. This is the book. This is the Luke Cage Hero for Hire #1. This book is a 5.5. You can see that they basically have an FMV of $170 on this book. We can extend it and you can see some of the prices. This book has been going for $199, $199, $156, $142, $165. Somehow they've come up with an FMV of $170. And so typically for these Go Collect giveaways, we like to be between $150 and $250. We kind of, wax and wane between those. Sometimes I go a little bit over if I can find a really cool deal and a really cool book that I think you guys will appreciate. Sometimes we go a little bit under, but at the end of the day, the goal is to give you guys some pretty awesome books that kind of run the gamut in terms of options. So scrolling through, see, here we go. Shadow Spawn's like, I remember when you were at 700 subs. I mean, it's crazy, right? It seems like yesterday, you know what I'm saying? And again, a lot of you guys are doing it already, and a huge shout out to all of you guys that have referred people over to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. No more mollywopping. No, we are all about the mollywop. I'm a big fan of that. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. So where do I enter the contest? All right, so here we go. Let's run through this thing one more time. The way that it works is that you have to watch the videos that come out from the channel Monday through Friday, always at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. And in one of those videos, I will say to you, hey, if you're interested in adding this book to your collection, write down this phrase. You capture the phrase from one of the videos. You go over to the community tab. You find the post where I'm talking about that book. You click the MailChimp link. You go to the MailChimp website. Somewhere on there, you're going to enter in 3 pieces of information. 2 of those pieces of information are about you. 1 piece is the phrase that you would have received from the video that I released Monday through Friday. You enter that phrase in, you are in the running. You, of course, have to be a subscriber of the channel, a resident of the US, resident of Canada, or have a mailing address to enter the contest, and you need the phrase. The post is up right now on the community tab. So if you head over there, you will see it. It is their very first post that is there, but you can't enter because the video with the phrase has not been released. That video will be released Monday through Friday. So hopefully that helps. If you cannot find the community tab, if you search Reggie Collects community tab, I have a video that shows you where the community tab is. If you are on an iPad, you will be challenged because for some reason or another, YouTube and Apple iPads don't like one another. And so you cannot enter if you are on an iPad. I believe you can do it on phone and on a computer, just not on an iPad. All right. And I know some people have had some issues with MailChimp for some reason or another, and oftentimes it is the browser. I had one person that had to try 3 different browsers on 2 different computers before they can get it to work. I don't know why, but I can tell you for a fact that MailChimp is the easiest and most efficient way for me to capture all of your information and to be able to enter everybody in without missing a name. We have not missed a single name in a very long time since we automated the process. And it also cuts down on my computer time because now I can pull it out and do it in like 15 minutes instead of what was taking me about 2 hours to do it manually every single week. Connie, shout out to you, Connie. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, just so you guys know, huge shout out to every woman that follows this channel. We have improved our ranking. We now have 7.1% of the subscribers are actually women. Huge shout out. I remember at one point when the female count on the channel did not even register. It basically said 99% men. And so we have steadily been increasing with women. And I want to give you guys a huge shout out. I want to thank every woman out there that also lets her boyfriend or husband watch my channel, because I've heard that there are a lot of you out there that don't mind listening to me. So thank you for that. I definitely appreciate the endorsement and the support. All right. So scrolling down, Johnny Future's like, let's make it 10. That's what's up. Reg, hey Reg, do you have a werewolf by night? No, I don't even have a werewolf by night myself. I literally just read Werewolf by Night 32 about 2 months ago because I was reluctant to read it. I just wasn't attracted to Moon Knight, and people kept being like, Reg, you need to read it. You need to read it. So I did. And I actually thought it was pretty darn good. So we'll spread the word so I can win this ASM 10. Who knows what they're going to give out? I honestly don't know what they're going to donate to the channel. So I don't know. It could be an ASM 10, 110. It could be something completely different. I honestly don't know. But again, you know, it's one of those things, man. I think it's super dope when people send AOKs. I think it's super dope when sponsors want to support and allow me to give stuff away. I want to, you know, I think when people send AOKs and are like, hey, just you give this back to people like Joa did. He's like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff, give it out. I've been sending out stuff to people, to be honest with you. And it's fun to be able to do it. It really is. JD, thank you, Reggie. Love your channel. We'll be sharing your channel to others. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that, JD. Scrolling through the names. Oh, Hawkeye, you better like it after I give you this book, my friend. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. So Matt Forge, go check out Reggie's blog on Comic Tom's website. So yeah, for those that don't know, I have been Comic Tom reached out to me. I think it was about a week ago. And no, it was probably 2 weeks ago originally when he reached out. We kind of played text tag for a little bit, and then we finally got a chance to connect. And he told me about what he was trying to do, which was to basically get his blog up and running. He was looking for contributors and wanted to know if I was interested. And I was like, bro, I got you. I mean, because I think Comic Tom is a good dude. I'll be honest with you. I think Comic Tom is a good dude. And I've always enjoyed my interactions with him behind the scenes. And so he reached out. He was like, are you interested? I'm like, dude, you had me at hello. I've got it covered. So I think I've submitted like 4 blog posts already. And the most recent one was basically an open letter to Marvel. And if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you guys probably already know, you probably remember that video, which was an open letter to Marvel about things that Marvel probably needs to do a little bit differently. And so that was put up in blog format instead of video format. So I think it's a pretty good blog. So if you guys get a chance, go ahead and check it out. Support Tom and John's Comics with Kids and Fire Guy Ryan and Jim Mint and all of the other bloggers that are associated with what Comic Tom is doing. Give those guys a little bit of support. So I found you from Comic Tom 101 in Bueller, so I'll let you know. So I will let them know to ask to sub. Yeah, definitely appreciate that, my brother. Scrolling down through the comments here. Thank you, Kyler. I definitely appreciate that. I think the dude is a good guy. James Tomlinson, brother, it is good to see you, my friend. It is good to see you. So again, Johnny Future was like, I love that one. I thought it was a cool video. And then I go ahead and buy variants and just unravel the whole thing. All right. So with that, again, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. Remember, videos are coming out all this week. If you are into podcasts, there is a Reggie Collects podcast. Wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, I'm probably already there. I'm going to release one podcast tonight for those folks that are headed to work in the morning. So check that out. If you're interested in podcasts, just type in Reggie Collects and you should be able to pull me up. Stay tuned for the videos that are dropping Monday through Friday of this week. And certainly if you guys need me, don't hesitate to reach out to Reggie Collects on Instagram and ReggieCollects@gmail.com. Take care.